This is the 4th of February 2022. Welcome to KUTV Primetime News, where we're here to inform you on what's happening in the country and beyond. Some of the stories making headlines tonight include the fact that Wavinya Ndeti of Leondwele Sipite has resigned as CS Transport to join the race for a gubernatorial race in Machakos. That and much more in this particular bulletin, but first let's get the introduction, then straight into this bulletin.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Mutegi K. Martin.
And Vivian Wangeshi is our sign language interpreter tonight. Join us for the next 1 hour for information on happenings in the country and beyond our borders. Now, despite being on his way out of office, President Uhuru Kenyatta may remain in active politics beyond the August polls. This following a Jubilee Party parliamentary group meeting that came into consensus to retain him as the party leader. The party is set to hold its National Delegates Congress on the 25th and 26th of February, where the deputy leader, William Ruto, may receive a formal expulsion from the post.
The Jubilee Party, that is the flagship that saw President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto conquer the waves of the 2017 general elections, has been a center of turbulence that has seen several within the outfit opt out, with the countdown being a matter of months before another dance in the political high seas on the 9th of August. President Uhuru Kenyatta today played host to a parliamentary group meeting with those who had held their ground in the party to work out how to find a place on the general polls roadmap after a silent split that has seen the party lose quite a following to its splinter, the UDA party. In the previous such meeting, chaired by party chairman Raphael Tuju, hints of a merger with ODM filled the air, though yet to be affirmed, despite a large number of remnant Jubilee leaders seemingly playing it out under the Azimio la Umoja movement. Jubilee, that came to birth after a merger of at least 11 small parties in 2016, will seek to mark its space in the political sphere while edging out rivals, including its deputy leader William Ruto, who may be formally struck out in the NDC as the party seeks like-minded partners.
After missing in action for 3 days, Deputy President William Ruto made a comeback today in the Coast region, accompanied by his Kenya Kwanza partners Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula. Ruto held a meeting with grassroots leaders in Taita Taveta County before heading to Kilifi County, where he promised to inject 100 billion shillings in government projects should he be elected the next president.
After a visit in Dubai that led to his absence from political rallies, Deputy President returned to the country in a storm, touring the coastal region as he seeks support. The Deputy President, who was accompanied by the ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi and his Ford Kenya counterpart Moses Wetangula, among other leaders popularizing Kenya Kwanza in the region.
Hii sarakazi zingine ya kutuambia twende tubadilishe katiba, sijui tutengeneze cheo ya fulani, sijui tuongeze mamlaka ya fulani, sijui tufanye nini, tumesema hiyo itangojea. Mpaka kwanza tushughulikie uchumi, kila mtu aweke pesa mfukoni, tuongee.
Dr. Ruto promised that in their first 100 days in office, his administration will invest 100 billion shillings in the government projects that will create jobs for millions of unemployed youths in the country.
Na mtuchuje sisi wote ambao tunatafuta nafasi ya uongozi. Hakuna mtu malaika ametoka mbinguni, kila mtu anajulikana. Na kila mtu wako na historia. Si ndio? Kama hujawahi hata ujui mahali Mugange iko, utaweza kushughulikia mambo ya hapa ukijua namna gani.
ANC and Ford Kenya leaders defended their ties with the Deputy President, which they say it was aimed at strengthening unity and the economy.
Mimi na Musalia tumekuwa kule kunaitwa Oka, tukaona tumepangwa, lakini tukakubali kupangika. Ni kama unapelekwa uwanja kukimbia mbio, unafungwa mikono nyuma, mwenzako hajafungwa, mnaambiwa bishaneni. Ikawa haiwezekani.
Sasa sisi tukaangalia tukasema, kumbe hawa walikuwa nasema tutembee pamoja, na kumbe wanatuelekeza kwingine. Tukasema tuondoe hisa zetu kwa hiyo subsidiary ambayo inaitwa OKA. Wacha tuweke hisa zetu pahali ambapo tutajua ni kubwa na itakuwa na manufaa kwa Wakenya, na ndio hiyo Kenya kwanza.
Lawmakers accompanying Deputy President and companions strongly criticized the proposed law that seeks to ban television from broadcasting live election results.
Kama mumepewa kazi na State House ya kuibia Raila uchaguzi, mtumie akili kidogo. Mwai Kibaki 1988 alisema hata rigging requires some intelligence. Sasa ile mpango mlikuwa mumelete ati ya kusimamisha ma TV wasipeperushe matokeo, watu ya Kenya hawezi kubali.
And we saw the other day a bill that has been brought on the floor of the House by the government of Kenya through the majority leader, and the Attorney General has already confirmed that it is a government bill. Tunaona inakuja kuhujumu wa Kenya wakipiga kura.
Kadi ndio hii, kwa sababu wameona Kenya yote iko nyuma ya Ruto, Musalia na Wetangula na Kenya Kwanza. Wanataka kubadilisha sheria ya uchaguzi.
Kenya Kwanza principals are expected to storm Vihiga County tomorrow for campaigns. George Mapesa, KUTV.
And still in political matters, Wavinya Ndeti has resigned as the Chief Administrative Secretary of Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, Urban Development and Public Works. Ndeti quit her position early today to join the Machakos gubernatorial race in the August polls. This even after the Labor Relations Court extended the orders to bar public officers from participating in August polls to 10th February. Ndeti, who will be under a Wiper ticket, will battle it out with UDA chairman and former Machakos Senator Johnson Muthama, Chief of Staff Nzioka Waita, Machakos County Assembly Speaker Florence Mwangangi, and Mavoko Member of Parliament Patrick Makau. As we continue to talk about politics and the journey towards the August 9th polls, stay tuned to KUTV for that and much more. You can also be sure to join us at our YouTube, that is at KUTV Kenya Live, where we are trending right now, so be sure to watch us there as well. Now moving on, East Africa Legislative Assembly Member of Parliament Florence Jemaita has been freed on a 1 million shilling bond after pleading not guilty to making utterances with subversive intent while making her ruling at the Cabinet Law Courts. Senior resident magistrate Nerolin Idagwa also banned from her attending rallies and setting foot in Baringo South. Jemaita was arrested and grilled at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations headquarters in Nairobi on Wednesday for allegedly threatening to start a funds drive to aid the purchase of guns to fend off bandits, citing lack of security in the bandit attack-prone area. And talking about banditry, tension remains high in Kasiela village and its environs in Baringo South following continued attacks in the recent past. This follows the killings of one person and 2 others being injured by suspected bandits at the area 2 days ago.
Hundreds of residents in Mochongoi Ward, Baringo South Sub-County have deserted their homes following banditry attacks, which have continued ravaging the area. Heavily armed cattle rustlers suspected to come from neighboring sub-counties began invading the volatile zone 2 weeks ago, shooting and killing residents and chasing others away before torching their houses and vandalizing businesses. Several families have vacated their homes to safer areas within Muchongoi, Kabela, Sinoni and Chabanyin, among other areas, to seek refuge as government moves in to deploy more security officers to enhance security patrols. Over 10 families have camped at Sinoni Primary School, which also remains closed as residents flee Kasiela location as station rises.
Hapa tulikuja jana familia karibu 10 hivi. Tukaomba nafasi tupewe tukaishi shule ya sekondari Sinoni. Tuliama wote na watoto, wa mama na watoto. Alafu wase tukawacha huko chini.
Wamama wamejifungua barabara, kuna watoto wanalia njaa, maji masafi hatuna. Kwa hivyo tungependa usaidizi.
Bandits wamecamp Korkoron na kuelekea Lamaywe na wamechukua eneo kubwa sana.
The situation has been worsened by lack of reliable mobile phone networks to ease communication, especially when they need urgent help. The residents claim they are forced to walk for a distance to where they have identified as a strategic point where there is partial network to communicate with their loved ones and or alert security agencies when there is danger. They observe that the state of insecurity has remained the way it is for over a decade now, claiming they suspect that there could be plans to be displaced by the heavily armed bandits.
Wakora wamekuja mtindo mwingine mbaya sana. Wanaua mtu na kuchinja. So tunashindwa wanaenda kukula au wanaenda kufanya kazi gani? So tunaomba serikali wakuje na ndege sababu maeneo haya ni raka. Ni mahali mbaya, mahali wanaishi.
Since 2013, life has never been the same again as bandits and livestock raiders wreak havoc, stealing livestock and killing people discriminately. However, they are now calling on the government to move in and ensure their safety. Samson Jura, KUTV.
Time for us now to take our first short break right here on KUTV Primetime News. When we come back, we talk about health insurance reforms right here with Dr. Muiruri from JCK Hospital. You don't want to miss discussion. See you on the other side.
Kenya kuna aina tofauti za hali ya anga ambazo huboresha au kuwa changamoto kwa wakazi wa eneo. Kaunti ya Makueni imeibuka kuwa bora katika masuala ya kilimo licha ya hali ya kiangazi.
Maembe huwa tunazalisha nyingi, lakini mtambo kuna ile capacity ambapo hawezi pitisha na hatuwezi chukua maembe yote. In fact tunakuta tunachukua 5-6%.
Kaunti hii imejikakamua kwa udi na uvumba kutegua kitendawili. Ukambani kuna ukame.
Tambo maji ilikuwa ngumu kupata kiasi kwa sababu kama ni pale kwa mto inapita tu inaenda. Lakini sasa hii kama imesimamishwa itakuwa rahisi kwetu.
Basi kikosi cha Boresha Kilimo kilitangamana na wakulima mbalimbali kuandaa Makueni County Edition.
Na wahimiza wana Makueni na Wakenya wote kwa jumla uitanzama kipindi cha Boresha Kilimo kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 6:30.
Reggae mtaani na mashinani, it's all about good reggae music. You tune in to KUTV. Everything set, link and connect. You know how we do it. Good vibration, good music alongside.
Let's recall some great men.
Call me the messenger, aka the lyrical DJ Sweet K. I'm gonna bring you the message straight from the artist to your comfort zone. Always stay tuned to KUTV Reggae Iration.
Alberto tupatie filmashi. Ananivutia mwendo.
Katika kikao hiki tunataka tujadili nafasi ya ushairi katika jamii ya Waswahili.
Leo nitakuwa na mambo matamu sana hapa. Yaani kama wasemavyo Waswahili tu yani. Ndio hivyo, yani kutakuwa na mambo babu kubwa kabisa kwenye mitindo ya kipwani hapa KUTV.
Stream live mitindo ya kipwani on our KUTV Facebook page every Saturday 4 p.m.
to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
Ukiwa na dukuduku la michezo, tunafungua sanduku la dukuduku kwa ufahamu zaidi. Kila danadana, mitimpo, mifiatuko na harakati zote ugani, sisi ni wako mwandani. Kukurukakara zote nyanjani, haziwezi kuangaziwa zaidi ya micharazo michezoni. Mimi mwanaspoti wako matata Peter Pinches Mwaora ndakuwa na jopo lenye maarifa sufufu, nikufahamishe na nikuburudishe wewe shabiki shakiki kwa uhakiki na kindakindaki.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Mutegi K. Martin.
Welcome back. You're still watching KUTV Primetime News, and Vivian and I are back. The discussion on the health insurance reforms will be coming to you after our second break, so stay tuned to that. But first, we want to inform you on what else has been happening in the country and beyond. And to start us off in this particular segment, over 5,500 workers in Hela Intimates Export Processing Zone in Athi River, Machakos County have been on a go-slow for the last 3 days. The workers claim that the private firm has barred them from joining tailors and textiles industries. Take a look.
For the last 3 days, this has been the situation outside the Hela Intimates Export Processing Zone in Athi River, Machakos County. The over 5,500 EPZ farm workers have been demonstrating against the company's management's failure to have them join Tailors and Textile Workers Union. The garment manufacturer is said to be sacking some workers unlawfully and asked to reapply for their positions.
Watu wa EPZ walikuja jana kutuambia wao wametoka Lepa, na tunataka kujua walitoka Lepa ya nani. Juu wanatudanganya hapa, wakati yenye wameleta hiyo makaratasi ya kutuambia watuandike hatutaki union, watu walikataa wakasema wanataka union.
The members also decry that the farm's management had turned deaf ears into their complaints and instead continued to violate their constitutional rights.
Wamama wanatoka maternity leave, baada ya miezi 3 wanakalia mashine, wanaingia usiku na mchana, na wameacha mtoto wa miezi 3, na pale mtoto hawezi lala bila mama, na mtoto anaumia. Mama anakufa hapa, mtoto anakufa, ni wengi wamekufa kwa hii kampuni, na kampuni hailipi.
Sisi wasaliti, sisi tumesimama kutetea haki yetu ya miaka 5, na tunataka haki yetu itendeke leo, tujue ni nini inaendelea. Tunataka kujua mbivu na mbichi ni nini. Sisi hatutaki kuharibu vitu zao. Sisi kitu tunataka pesa yetu.
The private farm risks running into losses if it does not heed to the cries of the workers, even as the Constitution of Kenya clearly speculates that workers have the freedom of either joining or leaving a union under the National Labour Relations Act. Stanley Nyerungita, KUTV.
Now, more than 100 families in Sabugo settlement scheme in Nyandarua County are living in despair days after unknown individuals descended on their 166 acres and began subdividing it. The families say if relevant authorities do not intervene, they risk losing their land, the only place they have known as home for 29 years.
Land grabbing is not a unique story in Kenya. Today, residents of Sabugo settlement scheme in Nyandarua County are living under similar circumstances where their land is being subdivided by unknown individuals. Ngugi wants the area administration officers and the registrar of lands to intervene and avert conflict between his members, who he says have already received allotment certificates, and the private developers whom he describes as unscrupulous investors.
Wakasikia sisi tuko kwa shamba, wakatutumia askari. Askari kuja wakaona sisi kuna document ya company, wakasema haisi kutuondoa. Tumeendeshana na hawa mpaka ikafika siku sisi yenyewe tukaigiza safea.
Isaac Wangai, a small-scale dairy farmer who has an allotment certificate, says his sister's grave lies in a part of the land hived off his father's land to a private developer who has just begun to fence.
Lakini yetu wanapewa sisi kidogo.
He says with half of the land gone amid simmering dispute, prospects to expand his dairy venture are bleak and hardship looms large.
Kama shamba yetu mimi imeondolewa inapatiwa mtu mwingine, na hiyo jambo ni yenye hatuwezi kubali tukiwa wakazi wa hapa. Juu sisi tunajua mashamba ni yetu, tumelelewa hapa. Sasa itakuwaje mtu mwingine atolewe kwenye anatolewa akuje atiambiwa akae kwa shamba yetu?
Residents complain about the ongoing situation, saying the simmering dispute is an impediment to the development of schools, hospitals and places of worship. Alex Jomo, KUTV.
South Africa becomes the first country in the African continent to make a COVID-19 vaccine. The scientists made a copy of the Moderna vaccine in what they say could help boost vaccination in Africa. That and much more in our international news roundup with our very own Omondi Otieno.
Executives on Thursday. The company called
Scientists in South Africa have made a copy of the Moderna COVID vaccine, a move which they say could help boost vaccination rates across Africa. The company behind the new vaccine, Afrigen Biologics, says it hopes to start clinical trials in November. Moderna previously said it would not enforce patents on its vaccine, allowing scientists in Cape Town to make their own version of it. The researchers were backed by the World Health Organization. Petro Tabernacle, director of the Afrigen Biologics, said they were starting small but had ambitions to scale up quickly.
If this project shows that Africa can take cutting-edge technology and produce cutting-edge products with it, that will banish this idea Africa can't do it.
At least 11 people were killed when soldiers attempted to overthrow Guinea-Bissau's President Umaru Sissoco Embalo on Tuesday. The dead in Tuesday's assault included 4 assailants and 2 members of the Presidential Guard. Embalo had announced on Tuesday night that the situation was under control after gunfire rang out for more than 5 hours near government compound where he was holding a cabinet meeting. The chairman of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres both expressed grave concern over the situation. Guinea-Bissau has had 9 coups and attempted coups since its independence from Portugal in 1974. For more than 4 decades, no elected head of state had finished a 5-year term until Jose Mario Vaz saw out his full tenure in June 2019.
It is for us clear that coups are totally unacceptable. We are seeing a terrible multiplication of coups, and our strong appeal is for soldiers to go back to the barracks and for the constitutional order to be fully in place in the democratic context of today's Guinea-Bissau.
And away from Africa, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has reportedly suffered the resignation of senior aides from his Downing Street team following an evening of turmoil at the top of government. Policy advisor Elena Narozanski is the latest to leave her role after 4 senior staff members quit on Thursday. Munira Meza, the Prime Minister's policy unit chief, quit abruptly, citing Johnson's refusal to apologize for using a conspiracy theory to try and smear Labour leader Keir Starmer. Dan Rosenfield, Johnson's chief of staff, resigned after failing to get a grip of a chaotic number 10 operation, which is driven with functions. Jack Doyle, director of communications, also quit, with Martin Reynolds, Johnson's principal private secretary. The PM is battling to save his premiership as Conservative MPs consider whether to oust him over the lockdown parties in Downing Street.
I want to say sorry. And I'm sorry for the things we simply didn't get right, and also sorry for the way that this matter has been handled. And it's no use saying that this or that was within the rules, and it's no use saying that people were working hard. This pandemic was hard for everyone.
China has joined Russia in opposing further NATO expansion as the 2 countries move closer together in the face of Western pressure. Moscow and Beijing issued a statement showcasing their agreement on a raft of issues during a visit by Russia's Vladimir Putin for the Winter Olympics. Mr. Putin claims Western powers are using a NATO defense alliance to undermine Russia. It comes amid tensions over Ukraine, which he denies planning to invade. Some 100,000 Russian troops remain at the border with Ukraine, which is a former Soviet republic. Mr. Putin, who has written that Russians and Ukrainians are one nation, has demanded that Ukraine be barred from joining NATO. While the lengthy joint statement did not refer directly to Ukraine, the two countries accuse NATO of espousing a Cold War ideology. And that's all for the International News Roundup. My name is Omondi Otieno.
We'll take another short break right here on KUTV Primetime News. When we come back, we have more in store for you. Stay tuned.
KUTV, in conjunction with Kenyatta University Funeral Home, is now offering death announcements immediately following our news bulletins at 7 p.m. At this sorrowful time, as you share in your grief, allow us to communicate your announcement of your loved one on KUTV in both Kiswahili and English. For more details, kindly inquire at the KU Funeral Home Service Desk or call 0736 928 380 or dial 020 359 9054.
Alberto tupatie filmashi ananivutia mwendo ananivutia.
Katika kikao hiki tunataka tujadili nafasi ya ushairi katika jamii ya Waswahili.
Leo nitakuwa na mambo matamu sana hapa. Yaani kama wasemavyo Waswahili tu yani. Ndio hivyo, yani kutakuwa na mambo babu kubwa kabisa kwenye mitindo ya kipwani hapa KUTV.
Stream live mitindo ya kipwani on our KUTV Facebook page every Saturday 4 p.m.
When we upata do, we normally distribute flyers, supermarket, mall activations, roundabout activations, campaigns, na bado we do marketing. If you are a fast learner, you can take around 4 years to 5 years. Ndio kuwa strong out the street. Wale, kingia kwa barabara, you're a driver, una focus. Kitoro utaambiwa, wewe usisikize. Wewe ni gari, wewe ndio dereva, na wewe ndio gari bado. So ikiatu wewe ndio unaicontrol.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
Things you know are right. Nothing worth the gain you attain by sudden flip. Don't you know that I still care for you? We flipped up, got me needing more and more of you. Gonna be the one to catch you.
Far East, welcome to the empire. Far East, we call it find true love. And you will see what your love has done for me.
It's magic. I need that magic.
Somebody call 911.
I
Sasa jibebebe, jibebebe, si ujibebebe.
Panado, sitamo, anything for your girl, give me more.
Nasema shughuli wagli, den den den.
Bila shaka mbiu ya mgambo ikilia, kuna jambo. Na sasa katika KUTV Rise Today, makala ya TBT, tunaongeza kuni, tunawasha moto. Tunaingia barabarani kuangalia hali ilivyo, takwimu za korona na kupa habari zinazojiri na zinazokuhusu na kujuza na kukumbusha yaliyotendeka siku kama hii ndani ya historia, kisha na kuletea wageni na wataalam, tudadavui, tufahamu na tuchukue nafasi yetu kama vijana katika uongozi, uchumi na masuala ya kisiasa nchini. Na joto likizidi, tunaingia uwanjani, tunachambua spoti ya Kenya. Ni kila Alhamisi saa 1 hadi saa 4 asubuhi, nami Vincent Maina almaarufu Ojwang mtoto wa Mariam, ndani ya KUTV, a new experience.
Siku hiyo yenye furaha ajabu, machungu yote yatakwisha, mambo yote yatakuwa ni mapya. Tukutane paradiso, tukutane enzini mbinguni, baada ya dhiki za hapa ulimwenguni tukutane.
Safina inang'oa nanga sasa hivi. Hivi sasa ni saa 2 Ijumaa usiku badala ya saa 3 kamili juu ya alama, due to public demand. Ungana nami Albanas Mwania, nahodha wa Safina Show, nikutoe ng'ambo ya pili hadi ufuoni. Safina Show, sauti ya matumaini.
Twatamani kufika pale, mji mzuri ajabu wapendeza, hakuna mfano wa mazuri yajayo, jitahidi ufike mbinguni juu. Siku yaja tutasahau yale yote yanayotuhuzunisha, tumeahidiwa na Mungu.
They don't know what they're even looking for. They don't know what they're even looking for. And I'm not ashamed, no, no. I'm not ashamed, no, oh, 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 oh. I'm not ashamed, no, no. I'm not ashamed, no, oh, 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 oh.
Niaje wasee, hii ni Church O'Clock Show mazina. Hapa kuna kitu inaitwa Gospel Art Segment. Hii ni segment yenye mazee tunapatana na wasee wanafanya art zao, wasanii, photographers, producers, DJs. Kama wewe ni dancer, we bring you here mazee, we show the world what you're doing and how you're using your art to reach the hearts out there.
Worship the Lord with gladness and come before him with joyful songs. That's exactly what we do right here on the Church O'Clock Show. Becky Esther here with my co-host Twinnie Esther Becky. We are not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, proclaiming him and making him known through Bible expositions, topical discussions, and of course your life questions answered right here on the Church O'Clock Show Word segment.
Yes, na tuko ndani ya Church O'Clock Show every Sunday 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on KUTV.
Amen. Amen.
Did you gain some weight during that quarantine period? Have you been looking for a program where you can watch, work out and lose some weight, get that good body, get the abs? Don't worry, because after it's Let's Be Fit, we got you. We're going to be coming each and every Thursday, 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. Don't miss any of our episodes. Remember, it's only on KUTV.
first time?
Yeah, I'm kind of scared, but I can do this.
Yeah.
Mess with me. Yeah, let's do this, man.
Welcome to On Fleek, where we flow flawless and serve you the latest gossips,
bring you the current and latest fashion trends.
talk to you about current life issues,
Bring you guests related to lifestyle.
do not miss out our show. I'll be your host, Stacey Atienu.
And I, Joy Nyambura. Don't miss out. Bye.
Today, I'm going to talk to someone who has a vast experience in matters cyber security.
I would say one of the challenges that I have encountered in the field, for one, there's a lot of misconception on how to get into cybersecurity, especially if you're still getting to explore the field. Cybersecurity is it's all rounded. You know, anyone can get attacked and it can come in any form. And cloud security is actually a field that's gaining popularity.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Mutegi K. Martin.
We are back. Be sure to talk to us on Twitter at KUTV_Kenya. As we informed you earlier this week, private hospitals will now continue offering services to patients using the National Hospital Insurance Fund (NHIF) cover until March 31st, 2022. The decision was reached after a temporary deal between the Kenya Association of Private Hospitals (KPHA) and the Ministry of Health officials to allow room for negotiations. This comes after NHIF and private hospitals were at crossroads over a number of issues in the recent past. Are we seeing the end of tension between the insurance fund and the private hospitals anytime soon? We are here to shed more light on matters NHIF, and who better to do that than the actual person you will meet as you seek medical services in a private hospital. Dr. Peter Muiruri, medical manager at JCK Hospital, joins us tonight for these particular conversations. Karibu sana daktari.
Asante.
Now let's get straight.
Karibu.
All right. Sorry for interrupting you there. Let's get straight into this interesting conversation that has hit the headlines this week. And to begin with, just would you kindly take us through how NHIF operates in a nutshell?
NHIF is an insurance that covers Kenyans in all walks of life, both in the public and in the private life. Now, NHIF is a great reward to us Kenyans. It caters for all the health needs, both in private hospitals and in public hospitals. It also assists those people, its members, including the people in the public service and in the private service, both in the Jua Kali and those people who are high up in the ladder. So it is something that we should put a lot of our energy and efforts so that every citizen in our country can get the best medical care.
Maybe another quick question related to that. Are there levels? Do we have NHIF accreditations or cards, as they were formerly termed as, that are higher than others? Do we have everyone at the same level, anyone who is accredited by NHIF?
Yeah, with the private sector, we call it the national. It's called the national scheme. But with the private sector, we have different schemes. It goes with the grade, the job group that you are in. Like the comprehensive starts from job group L, but with others from A to M, from A to L, we have the managed. And this one includes all the government officers, civil servants, including the police and the people in the prison and all other civil servants. With the private, we are catered only on one group, but we have those companies that have come together. They have their own individual plans with the NHIF, but in the public sector, we have different categories according to the job group.
All right. There has been this or that in terms of stories between NHIF and private hospitals. What is really happening, or what has really been happening over the years to this point? What is the situation between NHIF and the private sector where you're working?
Each contract takes 3 years. But in this particular one, it was supposed to end last July. In fact, last June. But because of negotiations, because, we have the private hospitals and the faith-based hospitals. They also want to cater for the Kenyan citizens. But sometimes you get that maybe the private sector, they feel as if they're getting too retro for too much from NHIF. And so we have continued talking amongst us and with the Minister of Health officials so that we can come to an amicable solution with them. And this is what happened when they brought the last contract. We felt that we needed more negotiations because most of the cases, all conditions that were being covered, they were being covered with far too little that we couldn't afford to cater for them, especially the theater cases, the cases that had to be operated. We felt that we would use so much, and NHIF, whatever they were giving us, couldn't compensate us with what we were doing. Remember, we have staff that needs to be paid. We have the items used, the drugs, the equipment that all need to be serviced. Remember, we have the electricity and all the other supplies like water and everything. And we felt that it was a low deal for us, and we had to sit down with others and ask the NHIF to reconsider, and we are still negotiating on that because it is worth, because we are catering for the same Kenyans like any other hospital, and our motto is to give good service to our people.
All right, and as there continues, as the discussions over the contracts continue, you guys continue to suffer, and I want you to tell the viewers tonight what are some of the key changes you want the government to make so the private sector can fit into this particular agreement that comes in the name of new contracts.
For now, we are still using the old contract that we felt was way much better than what they had brought to us, especially on these cases, chronic diseases and the cases that required surgery. We felt that NHIF would do better on that, and that is why they had to reschedule as the negotiations are taking place. But presently, we are still doing very well with the old contract, and we feel that we need to be reconsidered. When they are making the contract, they should look at us as service providers in the country, and also people who have all the needs like any other hospital. You know, we must also use whatever we are getting to give service to the people be coming for our service. If we don't make anything, then we might go under. We might not be able to pay our workers, pay our creditors. Remember, drugs are not cheap, neither are equipments in the theater, lab. They are the radiology equipment, they are not cheap. So we also have to really see that whatever they are giving us, we are able to cater for all our needs. Yeah, and not especially profit, but we need also to make something that will give us some money, also to give salaries to our staff.
Okay. All right. As we wind up, my director tells me we have 2 minutes, and there's one thing I want us to discuss just before I let you go. COVID-19 came, and a lot of people went through financial hardships that they probably would have expected to find cover through the NHIF, even in times when we're talking about the Big Four agenda, universal healthcare being one of them. And many people were disappointed by the happenings and the fact that they were not covered. Do you think we should, in this particular discussion, we should consider pandemics and epidemics, things that come all of a sudden and take hold of people? How can we be able to protect them, even if it means, you know, a few more coins from the citizens in terms of the money paid to NHIF? What do you think?
I think this is a very important question. Because we saw people suffering so much, and people couldn't pay their own bills in hospitals. We think that there should be a special scheme or account, and when people pay to the NHIF, some amount should be stored for a rainy day, because this was an eye-opener that anything is possible. So I think we should keep some money somewhere to cater for such happenings. You know, that was an emergency. Remember, even at JCK, we had an isolation center. And I remember what happened. We could go for oxygen throughout. We would look for oxygen everywhere. And people would come without a cent in their pockets. I think this is something that the government should relook, and the NHIF in particular, to see that we have some consolidated fund somewhere to cater for such. And I'm telling you, we went into losses because we couldn't just look at people die. We catered for them.
And thank you for that, Daktari, and even for stepping in and saving the lives of people. As we wind up, in just 20 seconds, tell us everything that you do and where people can find you. Anyone who is looking for medical help.
JCK Hospital is in Roysambu, Nairobi, just behind TRM. We border Park University along Muba Drive. This was a hospital that came about because of the needs of the children. We have a rescue center called Happy Right Children's Home. but the needs of the children that were being rescued were so much. So Bishop Ndongo and Reverend Faith Dongo, plus other well-wishers, started the hospital to cater for the children. But after some time, after a few months, they realized the needs went across. So we started seeing adults. And right now, we have all the departments. We have wards, we have a good emergency department, we have a theater, we have a good laboratory, we have a pharmacy, and the wards. We are also looking forward to opening many other departments. We have different consultants, like gynecologists, because we have started a maternity. We have orthopedic department, ENT, and we have general surgeons. We have a pediatrician who is always on board to continue seeing the babies that come and to continue seeing the babies at the children's home. Our hospital is a very good upcoming hospital that is barely 4 years, but we are able to do so much. And we are looking forward to being one of the best hospitals in Nairobi.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Moirore, for joining us tonight. We'll be sure to bring you on board when matters arise in the health industry. But right now we have to take a short break. And when we come back with sports news after this bumper.
Thank you so much.
KUTV, in conjunction with Kenyatta University Funeral Home, is now offering death announcements immediately following on news bulletins at 7 p.m. At this sorrowful time, as you share in your grief, allow us to communicate your announcement of your loved one on KUTV in both Kiswahili and English. For more details, kindly inquire at the KU Funeral Home Service Desk or call 0736 928 380 or dial 020 359 9054.